Hey guys, today I have another truly wireless pair of Bluetooth earphones for the budget price of $40 to $50, considerably cheaper than, say, the Samsung or Apple competition. What caught my eye on this particular model is that it actually has touch-sensitive controls as opposed to physical depressible buttons that can eventually start hurting your ear canal if you use it too much. So when I saw that it had touch controls, I was interested to see how it would compare to the touch-sensitive controls of the Apple AirPods. So starting off with what comes in the box, it's pretty standard. You get the instruction manuals right up front. And then in its somewhat large charging carrying case are the earbuds themselves. That aside, the accessories include a micro USB cable for charging the charging case, and of course, extra replacement ear tips in different sizes to fit your ears. As with most of these budget truly wireless earphones, their carrying case is a little bit larger than the Apple AirPods. In this case, it's slightly larger than what I would normally expect. But that also means that it has a larger battery to provide more battery cycling. In the front, there are 4 LEDs to really clearly indicate how much battery capacity is left in the charging case. The left and right earpieces are contoured specifically for the left and right ears, and in the charging case, the indication is clearly labeled to where you need to place them in order to charge them. Overall build quality and design of the earpieces are pretty solid in my opinion. It has a nice glossy black finish to it and a nice LED rim around the button so that you know the status of the pairing. And speaking of pairing, it is a little bit of a hit and miss when I first started out because depending on when you take the earbuds out, the left or right earpieces may automatically start pairing or not once you take them out of the case. The first time I tried it out, it was only trying to pair the right ear and the left earpiece was actually off. So for your reference, if the earpieces lights are blinking, that means it is trying to pair, and you need to make sure that both of these are blinking in order for both of them to pair at the same time and sync the audio together. There is a reason that not both of them started to pair automatically when I took them out of the case. I'll get to that a little bit later. But after the pairing process, the functionality is pretty much what you expect for these types of earphones. A one touch will allow you to pause and play music, pick up and drop phone calls. Double tapping on one of the earpieces will increase the volume, and double tapping on the other one will decrease the volume. Placing your finger for a brief second over one of the earpieces will skip a track, doing the same thing on the other earpiece will reverse a track, and then triple touching any of the earpieces will bring up the voice assistant such as Siri. However, even though it has a wide range of functionality, unfortunately there are kind of some issues inherent to this touch-sensitive design. The first of which is that the functionality is actually switch. Now this happened to another pair of earphones that I had reviewed in the past, where the left earpiece, where you would think would usually reverse a track and decrease the volume, is actually doing the opposite. My guess is because these are made and designed in Asia, they have the controls reversed, and I guess normally because they also read their books from right to left, that the controls make sense in their case. But I think because they are still selling this product to the US, that they should be reversing this functionality. Unfortunately, the issues don't stop there. Because touch sensitivity is based upon light source, as long as you're kind of covering up the earpiece, it will detect as if it were a touch. So I found that sometimes when I'm just holding the earpieces in my hand for a prolonged period of time, for instance, after 10 seconds of covering up the sensor, it will automatically turn the earphones off. So it's not really a touch sensitive more than a kind of light sensitivity. If you have something covering up the earpieces, it will treat it as a touch, which can definitely be problematic with ghost touching and it not working particularly well in dark situations. Because of that, I think that may be a deal breaker to some, especially when your listening experience and functionality is going to be dependent on your environment. And one other thing I noticed is that unlike everything else in its competition, when you put the earpieces back into this charging case, it doesn't automatically disconnect from the Bluetooth and turn itself off. I don't even know if it's actually even charging when it's in the case because the LEDs on the earpieces don't light up in a particular way to indicate that they are charging or not. And unfortunately, the sound quality is also nothing to write home about with tinny highs and lackluster bass. So in summary, I can't really recommend these as an alternative to the Apple AirPods, even though it is significantly cheaper just because of all the issues that I mentioned with the touch controls, which is really a shame because this is probably the closest thing that I can think of to replacing the Apple AirPods, because it has that great noise isolation from replaceable tips. It has that touch functionality, so you don't have to worry about getting the button stuck or anything like that. It's just really the electronics and the controls of it just didn't make the break. So instead of getting these, I would still recommend picking up the Trainer T2s that I had reviewed previously. I'll put both that and as well as this one, the Weepo Truly Wireless Earphone product links in the description, so you guys can take a look for yourselves.